Hi, welcome back to the Jonesy Chats Wrestling YouTube channel. My name is Steve, and I'm here to review last night's Great American Bash. Yeah, it was an alright show, to be fair. It lived up to expectations in certain parts, and it fell flat in others. But let's get into it. Show starts off with the men's NXT Tag Team Championship match between MSK and Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. Yeah, the match was alright. I say it was. It's kind of sort of felt like it went from 0 to 60. Stayed at 60 for a long period and then ranked itself up to 100. And yeah, it built. It's just a shame the ending was so terrible. I mean, so the match itself had some great spots. Ciampa hits a drop kick on Wes as he does a backflip. Carter hits a cheeky Nando's on Ciampa in the corner. Wes and Carter get a decent offense off the top rope for a 2 before Thatcher breaks up. Ciampa hits an assisted fairy tale ending with Thatcher before that gets broken up. But it's just the fact that Wes won with an inside cradle. I'd be honest with you, I would have preferred maybe a Grizzled Young Veterans interference, get this match sort of DQ'd out, and so you don't have either team losing, and then push this on to maybe the next takeover and had a triple threat tag team match for them titles. But otherwise, yeah, the match was really good. If I had a rate, I'd say NXT, that one. Come back from the commercial break and we get the 91% battery. This is leading up to something later on in the night. We head down to the ring. Samoa Joe and William Regal are already in there. They're in there for the Karrion Kross Johnny Gargano face-off. Regal announces next week there will be a match for the NXT Championship, Johnny Gargano versus Karrion Kross. But not just any match, it's going to be a special guest referee with Samoa Joe as the special guest ref, something we haven't had in a long time. I'm just hoping that they do something different with this, because I've got a feeling that it's probably going to end up with Joe being hit, or possibly like Johnny pushing Kross into Joe thinking that Kross attacked him, and then Joe will choke out Kross and Johnny will pin Kross for the title. And I'd rather them do something different that we haven't seen before. Like, let Kross retain, let him get called up to main roster, let someone follow him to the main roster to retain it, or do possibly a CM Punk kind of storyline. Let Kross retain it, leave, they then hold out and end up deciding to do and try and crown a new NXT champion, do like a tournament, and then do what Punk did against John Cena. Let someone get crowned, let Kross come back out, then get Kross versus whoever the next one person would be, the next champ, and we have basically a unification title for Kross, who left, versus new champ who won this tournament. Exactly the same as what Punk and Cena did, but it then gives a more of a build to say Kross actually leaving full time and just like not having that NXT championship. But back to the promo, Kross states that he's got 3 things: 1, remain NXT champion; 2, main event Mania; 3, win the WWE championship. This pretty much states that he's going to Raw. Other thing as well, that Scarlett wasn't with him tonight. Kross then makes a comment about Johnny wearing his wife's pants. Johnny turns around and says, talking about my wife's pants, you couldn't even lace my wife's boots. I thought it was a really good comment. Yeah, I just hope it doesn't lead to, say, an old storyline that we've seen so many times before, with Kross getting written off, just losing the title on a normal Tuesday show. Say, just keep him as the champ and write him off, let him go to Raw, and just say, yeah, build another champion up and then have Kross come back for a one-off takeover where they do title for title. I think that'd be a lot better. Come back from the next commercial break. Kushida video package, he basically says that he wants to face Roderick Strong for that Cruiserweight Championship. Then on to the next match of the night, LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes for that $1 million championship. If Grimes loses, he has to become LA Knight Butler. This one was pretty easy to tell. Match was really good. It actually, I think, was a lot better than the ladder match. So the ladder match didn't have a lot of the tropes of what a normal ladder match would have. I think it was just basically a kind of a skate around the ladders. But this, to say, because it was just a straight out match, was a lot better. But yeah, match ends with LA Knight hitting a DDT to Grimes onto the $1 million title on the outside out of the ref view. He throws him back in and he hits that modified stunner that he does, and he picks up the pinfall. If I had to rate this match, I'd say it was NXT. I said, yeah, it done what it needed to do just to sort of further the story along. So yeah, LA Knight is still the $1 million champion. And I now presume we're going to get weeks of segments of Grimes being his butler. It should be entertaining. It's a stupid stipulation that we've seen so many times before. I mean, we've literally just had this story on NXT UK with the same thing with, I believe it's Brookside and Ginny. Yeah, it's just a rehashed story that we've literally just had on WWE Product TV. We then get Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai backstage being interviewed about the women's tag team match that's coming up. Mackenzie asked a question about the match and how they think it'll go. She then puts the mic over and they both go to talk, and it's kind of like this is sort of the first step in the split between these two. And Dakota just says, just let me talk. And yeah, you can see they're doing this story really well, this split. So yeah, hopefully, I say when it actually comes to it, it's going to be a long, well built up split. come back from the commercial break and we actually get the competitors out for the NXT Breakout Tournament, which starts next week. The list is Trey Baxter, Carmelo Hayes, who we've seen on NXT TV recently. Andre Chase, formerly known as Harlem Bravado. He's been on 205 recently in a qualifying match. I didn't even know they were doing qualifying matches for this breakout tournament. Josh Briggs, former Evolve champion, he will be debuting on 205 Live this week. Nick Manjiro, who was on NXT recently in a tag team match, he's the one that wrestles in the sports coat. Yeah, he's a kind of a unique looking character. Joe Gacy, who was also on 205 recently to do a qualifying match to qualify for this tournament. Odyssey Jones, formerly known as Amari Palmer, who has worked NXT dark matches before, and he's wrestled Robert Roode in a dark match as well on the July 2nd episode of SmackDown. He's set to be in his first 205 match this Friday. And Duke Hudson, formerly known as Brendan Vink, he actually wrestled for WWE last year in 2020 in May, but hasn't wrestled since. So whether that's injury or they've just kept him out, I don't know. The competition starts next week. It's going to be Ike Manjiro versus Duke Hudson. Too early to call, really. I mean, I was expecting other people like Asher Hell to maybe have been in this, but yeah, like I said, once we sort of see a match from each of them, like all of them in a singles competition, we can sort of work out who might actually win this tournament. Then on to the women's NXT Tag Team title match. Zoe Stark and Io Shirai taking on Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. And the match itself is decent. It's not as good as what recent tag team women's matches have been in NXT. So it was just slowly building to this, unfortunately, I think a bit of a letdown sort of reveal. We're getting to a point in the match where Candice and Indy are looking to finish it. The battery pops up on the Titantron. It says 99-100. The lights come back on, and Tegan Nox is standing at the top of the ramp, and she does nothing. Io Shirai manages to dropkick Indy into Candice. Candice falls out the ring. Io manages to tag in Zoe. She hits her GTS onto Indy. She pins Indy, and they are your new NXT Tag Team Women's Champions. I kind of thinking about it now when I did my predictions yesterday. It makes sense that they should have lost, because obviously Tegan's going to want to go for a one-on-one rivalry with Candice rather than trying to find someone to feud for these tag team titles. But yeah, after the match, Tegan Nox comes down. She attacks Candice as she's trying to get away. It's a bit of a flat debut, a bit of a flat re-debut for me. I think this could have been done in better ways. She was just in normal sort of everyday attire as well, like not even in like new ring gear. There was no pyro, no smoke, no nothing, because literally just lights off, lights out. She wasn't even in the ring. You say it was top of the ramp, and yeah, just say a bit of a flat one for me. This match, I'd have to say I'm going to rate it as an NXT, even though I know the ending was a bit flat, but the fact that Zoe Stark manages to pick up her first title, she's the one that actually picks up the pinfall as well, I think is really good, and I say it builds her for going forward. Just to say, there's the whole Tegan Nox debut that sort of ruined it for me. We come back from the commercial break, and the Index storyline has been reborn. Sort of 3 weeks without nothing on TV. Apparently, during the commercial break, Indy was laying on the apron, and Dexter Lumis come out and helped her out to the back. They really need to decide what they're doing with this storyline now. It was really entertaining before, but like I said, we've had nothing on TV in, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, so they need to work out what they're doing with it. We're going to get Toni Storm backstage. She requested an interview. She says to Mackenzie that she wants to challenge Raquel Gonzalez for that NXT Women's Championship. Mackenzie brings up the fact that Saray challenged her last week, and Toni Storm just brushes her off and says, "I'm not being funny. She was only a success in Japan after I'd left. She hasn't won as many matches as I've had." And yeah, she just basically says that she doesn't fancy the match at all. We come back from the next commercial break, and Regal and Joe are being interviewed about the Great American Bash and how they felt the night went. These interviews are getting pretty pointless now. It's the same thing every week with these. It's just how the night went, blah, blah, blah. Just find some other way of doing it, or do you know what I mean? Or just use it to every once in a while. I mean, the fact that they did this a couple of weeks ago on just a normal show, it was pretty pointless. Like I say, keep them for these other TV specials or the pay-per-views, but yeah, just a pretty pointless segment. We then get this North American Championship cipher, which just basically turns out to be a gig, apparently. You get the members of Hit Row at the top of the ramp. You've got Shanti Theodonis doing the DJing and mixing, and then all of them cut rap verses like it's some sort of rap battle. Rap's not my music. Couldn't understand a lot of what they were saying. I heard them throw some names out like MSK at some point. I just felt this was filler, really, and this was really pointless. Like, you could have easily had someone come out and challenge Swerve for that North American Championship, or who his next challenge is going to be, because like I said, Santos Escobar was in a whole feud with Bronson Reed for this title, and then out of nowhere they've just thrown it on Swerve, and Escobar just seems to be thrown away like it's nothing. I presume he will get another shot at some point in the future, but yeah, I just would have preferred that rather than this gig that we got. And then on to the main event, Cole versus O'Reilly 2. It went exactly as I thought it would. Cole picks up the win in this match. A fantastic match. Go back and watch it. I say it's a lot better than the first one at Stand and Deliver. A lot more sort of excitement to it. A lot more fast paced. There wasn't a lot of waiting around and sort of milking sort of injuries and stuff like that. This was a more fluid match, I feel. A couple of decent spots. Cole manages to hit the Canadian Destroyer, the Panama Sunrise. He jumps off the apron to O'Reilly, who's on the outside, to do it. O'Reilly does that jumping knee off the top. He misses. Cole hits the last shot and picks up a 2, but it ends with Cole hitting the Panama Sunrise again and the last shot and winning. This is this building this feud in the right way, and I say when they have their third and final blow-off match, it's going to be really, really exciting to watch. This match, NXT 100%. Like I said, I can't wait to see the third one now. Hopefully the third one will build on this again, and it'll be an even more fantastic match than what this one was. If I had to rate this match, I would probably say NXT. I mean, yes, it was a kind of predictable and stuff, but the match itself was fairly entertaining. Yeah, and that's it for the show. Not a lot of other stuff going on in the news really, apart from former NXT superstar Jack Gallagher, who revealed that apparently there was some cruiserweight tag team championships in the lines, and apparently how they done photos with them and stuff, and how they was trying to introduce them, but have been dropped apparently. But I can actually probably see them being revived now, especially with NXT focusing on the cruiserweights a lot more, especially with this breakout tournament. A couple of them guys look like they're going to be sort of 205 competitors, sort of more cruiserweight division, and yeah, they could be reborn. But yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed the show, drop a like, subscribe, comment down below, you know, all the good stuff. Up here to subscribe, up here for another video. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon.